In this video, we're going to be looking at the Ringbrothers door hinges that are available for these second-gen Camaros. We'll go through the install process as well as the operation, and I'll give you my final thoughts. We'll also have a special guest in the garage that will be testing both doors to see which one she prefers. Stick around. So I had a subscriber reach out to me here on YouTube and was asking me some questions about my Ringbrothers door hinges that I have put up for Project Overkill. He was wanting to know if I had actually seen them in operation and heard the noise that they make when they actually hit the detent positions, and I told him I hadn't. And they actually got my curiosity up, so I started looking around on the internet to see if I could find any examples of that, and I couldn't. I kind of just want to try it out for myself, and that's the reason we're making this video. Now, in a previous video, I told you I had big plans for Project Overkill here in 2026. We're off to a slow start. You can still see behind me, I am working on the driver's side door. I do have it caught up with the passenger side. It's just taken me a while. This type of work takes a while, and we've had a pretty rough winter so far. But it will be the next video you guys see. I'm going to give you some teaser footage here right now. You don't want to miss this video. I'm really liking the way it's shaping up. We got her dialed in now, YouTube. So be sure to subscribe and hit the bell. That way you don't miss that up and coming video. When it comes to the hinges on these second gen Camaros for your restoration, you got a couple of options. The first one, which is what most people probably do, is rebuild their original set. And this was the set that was on Project Fast Times. There's 2 videos on the channel. I'll have them in the description below. But we showed you how to basically disassemble them. We actually replaced the detent roller with one from a 4th gen Camaro. We go through the assembly process as well as the refinishing process with the epoxy. And as you can see, they both turned out really nice. Very fine example of restored set of door hinges. The other option is you can go to classic restoration parts like OER, and you can buy a set of hinges there. You can actually still find NOS door hinges on eBay. You're probably going to have about $600 in a set of NOS door hinges. The other option is the Ringbrothers hinges. These used to be about $600. I think they're closer to $800 now. And these were their answer to these heavy doors. And like I said, they are a really nice piece. You can see how beefy these things are. They are rebuildable. Ringbrothers does provide a diagram. So another detail that is often overlooked. Okay, so we're all set up to bolt these hinges to the car. And I went ahead and just took some painter's tape and just kind of protect the hinge a little bit. One thing I noticed on these hinges, you can tell they were designed and built by guys that build cars. I've got 2 alignment holes already drilled here, so you don't have to drill these hinges. Now, yep, they've got them on this side too. So on your door side and the pillar side, they got you covered. It does say that it comes with a spacer for the top, and I didn't see a hole there for the spacer, but we could easily put one if we need one. The instructions say not every car will need a spacer. I'll go ahead and put the spacer in for now. We don't have the fenders on the car, so it's probably not going to make a big difference. They come with the hardwire. You got a 5/16 6-point bolt here that bolts to the pillar. I went ahead and just put a fiber washer on it right now. Like I said, I'm just trying to protect them. This is just kind of a mock-up. See how they work. I don't want to mar them up too bad in this stage. Finally got it bolted to the car. It's not an easy task. All right, so it's been a week since we filmed that last segment, and the reason being, I had to get a few tools. So this is the bolt that attaches the hinges to the door, and this is a 5/16 by 18 thread, and it's a 5/16 12-point head on top of the bolt. Now, I don't really have that much 12-point stuff, especially in 1/4 inch. And that's what it's going to take to get this fitted to the door. You got to have a lot of patience to get these started. And it's a very tight fit. So you can see what a confined space we're in. If you remember, the factory hinges are kind of hollow in some of these areas, and it gives you a lot more working space, where these hinges are just a lot thicker and more solid. You've got very little room here. Now, the instructions tell you to use a wrench, and a 12-point 5/16 wrench actually works really good for getting these started. You have to be careful right here because the wrench will mar the finish as you continue to sink that bolt in its location. Okay, so your next option for getting these bolts snugged down, you can buy one of these universals, and this is a 1/4 inch 5/16 12-point. This first one on the outside, it's not a problem for you. It's these ones here on the inside that are the problem, because the hinge comes towards you right there. But you can see just where that's going to work. The only problem with these universals, it just seems like you can't get a lot of torque on them. While these kind of work for snugging it up, there is a better way. 5/16 12-point 1/4 inch socket paired with an 1 1/4 inch extension that is a wobble. I never in my mind thought I'd ever need a 1/4 inch wobble. And that right there is going to give you enough clearance without marring the hinge. It's a really tight fit, but it does allow you to get in there without destroying the finish on the hinge. Tighten it up. All right, one other thing I want to share with you. A lot of times when I'm adjusting doors, I'll leave usually a couple bolts loose, and I'll tighten up. Usually I'll tighten up the bottom one, and I'll leave these others loose where I can maneuver the door around. You can't really do that with these hinges because it's such a tight fit. If you'll notice, I had left these loose, and they were just barely loose, and they did put 2 little witness marks on the hinge. So you have to either just leave them all the way out while you're adjusting them, or you have to run them all the way in and make sure they're tight, because the tolerances are very tight on these hinges. The other thing I want to share with you, I mentioned there was a spacer for the top, and the instructions say not every car needs a spacer. This one actually did. What the spacer does is actually move the hinge closer to the door. So there must be some variances between the cowl part of some of these second gens, because when I was moving this door up to bolt it up, I was like, man, this top hinge is a mile away from where it needs to be. But not without the spacer. The spacer brings it closer to the door, and you're able to bolt it up. But how do they close? Actually close really well. Quiet too. Now there's no striker in this door. Very quiet. Here's what I find interesting about them. Once I get to about this point right here, they'll close on their own, which I think that's pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of a fancy kitchen cabinets where the drawers, you push them in and then they go the rest of the way in. Now, one thing that I can't demonstrate for you guys is just how they feel compared to an original set of hinges. To me, they feel a lot more sturdier and the door just feels more stable. I really like them. Okay guys, so my wife is going to come out and she's going to open and close each one of these doors. The GM hinges are on the driver's side. The Ringbrothers, as you just saw us install, they're on the passenger side, and we'll get her thoughts. Now, she doesn't know which is which. She's just going to open each door and tell us which one she prefers. All right. All right, guys, Miss Double R is going to try these doors out, and she's going to tell us which one she likes.
The other side's smoother.
You think the other side's smoother?
Let me try again.
All right.
I want to make sure.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
You like that side?
Yeah.
That's the new Ringbrothers hinges.
Yeah, that's much smoother than the others.
And close it, and when you get about almost closed, let go of it. See what you think. A little bit more. It close on its own.
Much smoother.
That's the factory hinges over there on the other side. So what's my final thought on these hinges? I think they're a great addition to any second-gen Camaro. They're a little pricey. I think it is a great answer for these heavy doors. I think it's exactly what these heavy doors need. So I think it's money well spent. Even though they are pretty expensive, you got to consider the engineering cost and everything that went into these hinges. They are rebuildable. As I mentioned before, I don't know if they'll ever need to be rebuilt. These cars are not driven daily like they used to be. But a lot of weight on these hinges. You know, the striker is just there to latch the door. And so it shouldn't really have any weight on it. This literally is doing all the heavy lifting. Stay tuned for the next progress video. You don't want to miss that, as I alluded to earlier. We'll see you on the next one.